So,
now I know how
Robert,
to set up my stuff.
welcome to the welcome to the studio. Thank you very much for your time.
Anytime.
So I really appreciate you being able to carve out some time in your busy schedule with family and everything and work to come out here, make it in the studio and do the show. So thank you very much for having me.
Anytime, Glenn. Let's rock and roll, baby.
Right on.
Elvis.
This is gonna be fun. So usually I'd start off by asking the guests, and typically I'd want to know kind of to tell everybody kind of who you are and what you're about before we get into the thick of it. Usually I'd wonder about like the transition period from leaving high school to post-secondary, but when we kind of talked a bit beforehand on the phone, you mentioned yours is relatively different from what mine would be or my friends or family, right?
That's right.
So take us through then the difference of it. Like take us through from that time period where, you know, teenager, whatever, growing up to kind of full circle where we got to now, and then we'll go through it as we go.
Well, for myself, leaving high school, I was in a position where I signed, well not signed, I was in negotiation with a scholarship to Georgia because I wanted to go to Georgia. The Olympics were there. I wanted to turn the city and the fans sort of my home field. So when the Olympic happens, it's my people.
Yeah.
I control the crowd.
100%.
So that didn't work itself out because everything that they promised me, I wanted on paper. That's including a car. That's
sure.
including all the other stuff. And they're like, we ain't putting that on paper. You're crazy. I said, listen, if I'm leaving what I have, a car and different things here, why would I come down there and not have a car?
Yeah. I'm used to a way of living here.
Exactly.
That same way over there. For
so
sure.
They said to me, well, we will give you what you want, but we can't put it down on paper.
Right.
Because of legality. I said, well, I have a lawyer. That's y'all to figure that stuff out.
Jeez, yeah.
So other than that, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go pro. I'm going to get the same, better competition.
Nice.
I'm going to be paid for racing instead of not getting paid to race.
Yeah.
And I make sure in all my agreements with all my sponsors in Canada that they pay for my school as well. So it didn't matter where I go in the world. I got a 4-year deal where they'll pay my education along the way.
Amazing.
So at the end of the day, I'm still winning.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best case scenario, right?
Yeah. So I took the other route and decided to go pro. And then traditional people go to university and different things, but in my circumstance where I was one of the top 2 fastest in North America.
Amazing.
And with a Nike deal at grade 10, I had my first Nike contract. So and then with some great support locally, Investors Group, Inco, and a lot of these guys, which don't sponsor individual, but because I'm a smooth talker at the time. At the time, and I was able to understand the marketing and the branding and the packages. I was able to articulate enough and come up with a plan where they believed of what I was going to do.
Right.
Considering I was a small package, but I tell them great things come in small packages.
Amazing.
Right, and they believed in the dream, and they stood by it. And the first year on, we're getting mad advertisement and front cover of paper, Toronto Sun, the Stars, you know, Global Mail. So I'm on some of these. So when you're looking at marketing wise, just say for instance the Toronto Sun. If you're on the front page of the Toronto Sun, say even the sports section, the value a sponsor or a company would pay for a full page or half page front of that is like $50,000.
Oh yeah, now
So now when you do the numbers and the marketing, how many times I'm going to be making those front pages and sports section, and the association, it equals into sponsorship dollars. So they're able to take some of that marketing money and put it my way. So that's how I look at selling the brand and accomplishing what I needed to accomplish. So that's the route I went to go pro.
Man, that sounds very, very, like, it sounds like you were further along for your time in terms of the way, like how aware you were of the branding, because now it's all out there. We know kind of the strategies to take, right, and the approach, but it seems like you knew before, like at such a young age.
Well,
why is that?
I've always said, you know, it doesn't matter what age you are, and especially when you're younger. I always tell younger kids, have a mentor. So a lot of my friends and mentor were in their 20s, 30s, up to 80s. I had friends that are 80s, right? I go to bingo hall and they give me stuff, and, you know, because part of the fundraising we do once a week was bingo.
Nice.
Right? And I became friends with the right people in the right circle and learn from them. So when they talk, I listen. So one of the things I learned was to be able to be great is not to duplicate or not to make as much mistakes. But by listening and learning from others, it allows you to minimize those mistakes and the wisdom of those others.
Right.
So by utilizing those and listening, I picked up some stuff along the way. Plus, I think it was grade 10. I had my first lawyer. So with spending time in the law offices, literally, I thought I probably was going to be a lawyer.
Because like 15, 16.
I learned how to negotiate. I learned how to read the tricky words.
Amazing.
And the rule is always read the fine print. The substance is in the fine print.
The substance
yeah,
is in
so
the fine
I
print.
bring
That's
out
how
the
they get you in the fine print?
I bring out the binoculars and I'm going through the fine print. You know, because you know it's small. Maybe that's why. Maybe
so
that's why.
Fine print, right?
Maybe that's why now I
Hard
need some glasses. You know, because going through those fine prints.
Yeah, it does something to your eyes, eh?
Yeah.
So, what's interesting about that, and we talk about like the learning and like the importance of the learning from other people's mistakes. I think there's a quote. There's like a business mentor of mine nowadays. He used with me once. He's like, "Smart men learn from others, or smart men learn by making mistakes."
All right.
Or learn from their mistakes. Yeah. Wise men learn from other people's mistakes. And when you said kind of like the wisdom with it, I was like, yeah.
Because you making your own could be expensive.
Yeah.
Right? So if you can learn from others, then I call it accelerated learning. Right? So it allows you to accelerate your learning by minimizing the damages along the way or the headaches along the way. Right? Because it's a proven fact. If somebody have done it and it's proven it, why are we going to reinvent the wheel?
Right. Yeah, there's no point doing it. It already rolls.
Exactly. So you know it works, so let's jump on it.
Right.
Sorry, your heater here is heating up my leg like a turkey. Let me see if I can move it back, maybe underneath you.
How's that?
Yeah,
better?
Yeah.
Better?
Woo! Folks, I felt like I was in Jamaica right now.
Man, I wish we were. Jeez, I can't deal with the snow. But anyways, yeah. So what I want to know, what I'm curious about is, so take me through now from when you got into the pro career to like when you started running like in world championships and Olympics. How did that kind of?
So for myself, the process usually is in Canada, they design a rule to protect the number one. So part of that is you have to run A standard at least once and a B standard, say for the 100 meter.
Like a season.
Yeah, right? Okay. So the B standard is like 10:34. The A standard is 10:18, right?
Yeah,
so
fast.
Whoever under 10:18 gets in the higher ranking. So you've got 5 of us, some of the 5 fastest men in the world at the time in the world. So we all run our A standard, at least 3 of them for the year, and some Bs. So now you have to go to the trials and you have to get top 3 in the finals to be able to compete in an individual event.
Interesting.
And then top 6, you're going to a relay pool. Within the pool, they'll take the top 4, and the other top 2 could come from, like, say, hurdles or the 200 meters, or an athlete who does the long jump, but also does a 100 meter. So what happened is that last 2 spot, it opens up not necessarily for the 5th and the 6th person, but to other athletes who do compete once in a while in 100, but could be world ranked.
Right.
Like for instance, you take say Mark McCoy. Mark McCoy run 10:08. He would be top whatever in the country, but he doesn't run the 100 all the time.
No.
But he's a specialist in the hurdles. But now you can put him on the relay team if you want to have the best relay. So that portion, that last 2, protects other athletes who may not want to do the 100, such as even Glenroy. Glenroy would love to do the 2. Minimum the 100 because he's the better in the 2.
Right.
But he'll run the 100 to be ranked. But a lot of times he'll run the 200 at the championships, at the worlds or stuff like that. Right. But he's able to qualify for the relay.
Okay.
Right? And
so
then,
really tactical approach to that.
And then what happened after that is, if you're the number 1 going in with standard, although they pick the first 2 automatically in the across the line in the 100. But the 3rd spot is reserved for decision making by the board. So although you may get 3rd, you still may not make the team if a guy runs faster, but they were hurt, they may consider him to take that third spot to protect the superstar.
Weird.
So we sort of call that the Donovan Bailey Bruni rule, because it came in effect at that time. There was a lot of injuries the year before. And if you're ranked number one, he was ranked number one going in the world.
Right.
But we know if you get hurt, you can't compete.
No,
right?
Works,
just like the U.S. I don't care. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Jamaica. Everywhere else, it's 1, 2, 3 cross the line.
Right.
So
100%.
If you didn't run and you're the world fastest, who cares?
Yeah, nobody cares. You didn't run.
We want to protect the brand. Yeah, we wanted to protect the brand. Whoever's that fastest, if something happens, is still given an opportunity to be on the global stage. And that rule is kept in place ever since.
So, you know, if he's the fastest, but he doesn't like make world championships, or he doesn't,
or something happens,
or something, he can't be in the semis, but he can run them.
They could be considered to take that spot.
Maybe he's injured for his individual, but you put him in.
All right. So those were some of the rules that designed. So for myself, you know, I've always trained to be like, I want the world record just like the next person.
100%.
Right? Yes, I have a lot of things against me, you know, from Sudbury. What the hell's in Sudbury? Mosquitoes and potholes and different things.
Potholes,
I
indeed.
said, oh, you forgot we have rocks.
Yeah,
so the rocks is the foundation, right? And they don't know what I'm doing here. I'm training hard.
Yeah.
And I go down there and I compete, and they better bring the A game. Right. I even remember one time in the early days, I show up at a meet. I pull up in my Honda Accord, right? Boom, pulled up, slept in the car.
Amazing, yeah.
But they were the races were $250 per race. So I ran in like 3 races, clean up. I make myself $750. Yeah. Right, and then laugh at them and go home. I go to the next meet. Donovan rolled up back then when he first came on the scene. He was in the stock market, so he rolls up in a 911 Porsche, beautiful white Porsche. I'm talking drop top, boom. It was nice. I was like, right, and then he likes to show up, and I show up late. Yeah. And the starters love me, know who I am. So one guy's like, no, Robert's entered in the race. We need to wait for Robert.
Amazing.
Back then I was the Flash, right?
Yeah.
So the Flash is coming. So come down. I showed up 10 minutes before race time. Yeah. They're upset because now they have to wait that extra 15 minutes for me to properly warm up. Right?
Amazing.
And back then, he was a king and the 6 foot. Who cares? I'm from Sudbury. I'll whoop your ass anyway. That's the mindset. So anyway, I roll up. The gun went boom. All right, whoop their ass, laugh at them, give them a box of Kleenex. You've been sponsored by Kleenex, cried on the way home. Right? So I'm like, So I'm like, maybe next time you race a Porsche. Yeah. Right? So that's a kind of, you know, being Jamaican and being, you know, we love to trash talk.
Yeah.
So that's my way of trash talking. Right? And I think over the years, that's what brought where they didn't really care much for me.
Right.
Because, you know, I'm the guy that's going to shake shit up. Right? So I don't care who. If my mama got a lane, my mama got to run. That's how I roll. Right? So because of that, I don't, I wasn't loved. And I was the baby of the team, too. So who for you to come and try to ruffle
the young guy.
The king.
Big mouth young kid,
Just like when you watch Andre DeGrasse and Usain Bolt, and Andre's challenging him in the 200 and looking around, Bolt looking and said, no.
He's like,
hey, I'm not here to work this hard right now. What the hell wrong with you? It's the same combination. Yeah. David and the Goliath. All right, I'm coming slinging. Right? I'm ready to knock him down. I even probably put a rock in my slingshot from Sudbury just to knock him down a little notch. But yeah, that's the fun piece about my competitive days. And to qualify, you have to be able to get top 3, make the team, go to Worlds. I went to my first World Championships in 1993 after so many injuries as a junior athlete. I lined up between Carl Lewis, one of the greatest sprinters of all time.
Amazing.
And I remember it was 4 years before, I was in Martinique because I was still in high school. And I went to the meet. Every person in the race was an Olympian except for this kid from high school. And these guys, I think they went like 10-1. I went like 10-8. Right? You could have called me an Uber back then. Yeah. You know, hey, help me cross the line here. Hey, Uber. Right? So I went back to the drawing board and I worked and I'm looking around and I'm in the quarterfinals and I'm looking up and I'm like, holy smokes, Carl Lewis, you don't remember me, do you? He's like, no, who the hell are you? I said, well, now they call me the Flash. He says, the Flash? Say, oh yeah, you better make sure you hold on, because cameras now start to speed up them new cameras to try to catch up with my start and stuff. I was deadly. I was like, yeah, whatever, kid, move the hell on, man.
Whatever, kid.
You know? So yeah. So the gun went and I came blazing out the blocks. 60 meter, I have it on lock because I just ran the fastest time that year in the world for the 50 meter dash. Right. So he's probably wondering what the hell going on up ahead, right? Yeah. Then I saw about 70 meters. Yeah. I saw his long legs start lifting.
You're like, uh-oh.
80 meters, I saw the foot extended. I'm like, oh snap! We dipped through the line, and he just got me at the end.
No.
He came back to me and says, "Who are you again?" I said, "No disrespect, Mr. Lewis. I'm Robert, a.k.a. The Flash." He goes, "You're going to be famous." I said, "No problem." By that time,
no problem.
by the time of the end of the race,
come on.
I'm all over the jumbo screen. I'm big. I'm one of the big names in Germany now. So I ended up finished that world championship, my first world championships. I ended up 11th overall with Kevin Sullivan, being one of the youngest guys at the world championship, finishing bronze medal and top 23 in the world rankings in the 100 meter right out of high school. So that's how the Flash became his name, and then ever since then I won a couple world indoor medals on the world stage, relay team. We won Worlds 95, went into Commonwealth in 94. We were #1 there. 96. Well, what can I tell you? We locked down the United States on their soil and gave them some spanking, baby. All right, 97, went to Greece at the Worlds, locked that baby down again. So we were undefeated for 5 years straight. Yeah. No hockey team, no other team in the country, except for Jamaica now that went, I think, 5 years undefeated. But
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we were locked.
Jeez. So what's crazy, I want to add this little tidbit thing that I've noticed about you. So I don't know if you've been drinking from the fountain of youth, but my birthday was July 1st, 1996.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, thank you, sir.
By the way, he's a great young man because he's a Cancer just like myself. July 1st, he came partying, and right after that, we will spill over to July 5th.
Start fresh summer.
That's right. Oh, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, but I'm like, that was a while ago. Like, over 25 years.
Well, at least you learned to join the party. You came on joining the party.
You don't say. So with that being said, you've had about over 25 years in like the athletics world, coaching, competing, mentoring. What is something that you've noticed like that Athletics Canada does really well that they've done over the test of time, and what is something that you wish you could change?
Oof. I stopped following Athletics Canada. I'm gonna be honest. There's so many politics.
Yeah, it's probably good
back then that when I retired, I unplugged myself from the sport because there was so many bad taste in my mouth and things that they did to me. Yeah. Was a lot of uncalled for things, but I wish and hopefully what I would like to see is the athletes get taken care of, right? In '88 there was so much drama and things that was happening with the drug situation, and myself, Donovan, Bruni, Glenroy, Carlton, we rebranded and took Canada to another level. Because of us and our body of work, they're able to make millions of dollars with our brand. And we didn't get anything necessarily from that. So, and they've ride that for a long time.
They've been doing it,
They've been doing it.
Yeah, 25
and
years. I'm
hoping that they could set up the people who are like Andre now, they're riding Andre's back. All right? And those guys. Yeah. And what he's accomplished. Because they get a percentage marketing, they get the market, they get the budget, and they pay a whole bunch of staff and all kinds of stuff, but don't take care of the athletes. There should be a retirement fund from some of this for those athletes who have paved the way, and you've made money and millions of dollars
like
off of this
royalties and something, right? Something. In a brand would be nice.
Not only just for that start, but for those athletes, right? So that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
And that may change is that you take better care of the athletes who help give you those jobs, who have put money in those situations. Right? Because they're global athletes. And with that global, Canada brand becomes bigger.
Yeah.
When we win, worldwide, everybody wants to wear Canada. Our outfit was the biggest thing that people want to trade.
Yeah.
And guess what? Tourism has gone up because they want to go to Canada.
Yeah.
You know how many people want to go to Jamaica? Tons.
All the time, yeah.
Right? Because of the brand. Hussein, all those guys are a brand. So when they're representing that country now becomes big on the global stage. Same thing like World Cup soccer.
Yeah.
But they don't do anything for those athletes as a brand. We all should be ambassadors for the rest of our lives, traveling the world,
like some little
with
bit,
an ambassadorship. Now we don't have to deal with all this other lineup and all these other things.
Crap to go
we represented our country, so I would love to see some of those changes for those
really
athletes.
Point.
It may not happen for my era, but for future stuff, is to take care of the people who took care of your ass.
Yeah. Because
of those jobs they have, a lot of that money comes from the athletes back of promotion and marketing by doing their hard work on the field, and you're reaping the rewards on the opposite end.
Yeah. One thing I found that was interesting, so I had Aaron Brown on the podcast a couple months ago, and he was sharing to me about how not only do they not get they get paid for world championships, not Olympics, and how the media is so strict on what they can and can't do. If certain corporations are sponsoring not the Olympics, they can't post that, like, shout out to sponsor me. They can't mention anything. Like, I don't know how, like, was it strict, like, similar kind of thing back then, or is it
very strict? Media? One thing you have to understand, and I said this is where my knowledge, my experience comes in play by watching mentors and things. Speak with my lawyer. What is the gray line? Without crossing. How can I play in the gray zone?
Yeah, how do we get us close to that line?
Right? So, for me, all my sponsors who got me there, trust me, I give them a shout out.
100%.
And I tell the Olympic people, you can sue me. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right? Because guess what? I've prepared, my lawyers prepared everything in case we get sued. That kind of advertisement, we can't afford to pay.
Right.
So guess what? They're just going to leave me alone. Right? So I remember I got the haircut, right?
Yeah.
With the relay blast off in my head.
Yes.
Right?
Amazing.
I had my Inco hat on because I wanted to cover it. Yeah. And I had my Adidas glasses on and my different sponsors on, William Resource and stuff.
Nice.
Right? And they said, oh, you can't wear all those stuff. I said, watch me. I walked out. Now, I made a comment to one of my favorite photographer, Peter Williams, and I said, this is what I'm going to plan. And I spoke to Ron McLean, and this is what I'm planning.
Nice.
And soon as Peter came over and took a photo, all of a sudden, 10,000 cameras rushed me. I already vision everything. Right? I'm on the jumbo screen. I'm taking over Atlanta. Right? I said, now I got to blast.
Hometown Georgia.
Yeah, I got to blast off.
Yeah.
Right?
Amazing.
So, and now we have to win. To become Mr. Blastoff.
100%.
So when all that happened, and then every TV I went on, I got my hats, I got my outfits, I got everything ready. And all they want to see, can I see that? Can I see the haircut? So guess what? Right away the cameras are going where? To my face.
Because you have to take your hat
off. I got to take
off.
my hat off. My logo getting prime time. My glasses getting prime time. So everything now was getting prime time.
Yeah.
Right?
Amazing.
And guess what? The next day I talked to the guy from William Resource, Diamond Mine, and he goes, oh, by the way, love the logo. Our stocks, we made over $1 million the next day by people seeing them and buying stock. So I understand the viewing. People go lock in and boom.
Amazing.
Right? So I was like, oh, got a nice bonus there again.
Yeah.
Right? So overall,
awesome.
I'm thinking about all the pieces and how I can brand and market it myself. So if you talk to Ron McLean says, Robert is a brilliant man. You can put him on a skateboard or ice. This boy can sell as shit out of Eskimo.
I'll contact him to ask him specifically.
Right?
What do you think?
So overall,
an ice Eskimo.
I had the vision and understand the marketing and the packaging behind it.
Right.
But knowing if I do something, there is a repercussion, good or bad. Am I willing to live with the bad?
Right. There's the risk.
Right? Because there's always a risk. By having conversation and dialogue with my lawyer back and forth, I can make a concrete decision whether I go ahead or not.
Right.
Right? And by doing that, I'm one guy. So me versus the IOC. Who do you think gonna win by the people's? Me.
IOC, yeah.
Not only that, they won't win. Not only that, if they're coming, I already have doctors on staff and says, listen, I was running so fast, my temperature started cooling, I was gonna catch a cold, so I needed to wear my hat and stuff. Oh yeah, we had it all planned out, man. Right? So when you're thinking of the nonsense with the Olympics saying, well, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah.
If the athlete is wise enough and have wise people around them and look at the rules and regulation, they can move through that. Right?
Interesting.
And guess what? If they cross the line, they must be willing to deal with the consequences.
Right, there is that.
Right? And for me, I'm a rebel. I'm from Sudbury, man.
Yeah, we kind of go against the grain way up north here.
Yeah, you know, a little old me up north. You got to push the boundaries a little bit. So I wasn't scared to even now, I would never be scared to go fight the IOC.
Yeah.
If I strongly 100% feeling about something, and I know I'm right, I'll take them on anytime.
Calculate a risk, right?
I got the people, man. I'm the people's man.
People's man. Let's go. Oh, that's awesome. So, I managed to find a video, and I want you to tell me about it. You live commentated in Jamaica for the 2012 the relays.
Yeah.
Correct?
That's right, my brother.
What the?
Well, what happened?
That sounds insane.
I did
epic.
I did my own commentator. So this is what happened. So I was in Vancouver at the time, and I had the family. I'm like, okay, should we fly over to England? So I'm like, you know what? We can't take the whole family over to England.
No.
Right? And I couldn't get a hold of my buddy over there and take it. So I'm like, you know what? I got to change my money into pound. That's like 2.5. I'm like, nah, I don't have that kind of cheddar. So I said, the next best thing is I need to fly into Jamaica instead.
Yeah.
So we took the whole family down to Jamaica. And I wanted to be in the heart of what's going to happen. So I'm in halfway tree here. There's a spot in Jamaica. People bring pot covers. Like, you know the pot covers? They bring horns. They're standing on buildings, buses. They're having it's a party.
It's extreme.
It's like when Vancouver in 2010, you had over 100,000 people there. It was amazing. So I wanted to live stream and watch the people's reaction. Because I know Jamaica's going to turn up the place. And 100%. If I can't get to London, the next best place is to go into the heart.
It might be a better place. Yes! Are you kidding?
Oh, man. Well, he can party right after that.
It looks epic.
Oh, yeah. So I got there and I'm recording and I'm like, hey. And it was amazing, man. The authentic, the passion, the love, the food. You can just see everything and smell. And it was breeze. And the crazy thing is, every time Usain Bolt about to race, 1 hour before, a tropical storm, a lightning, 1 hour before every race. Every race!
Storms are coming, baby.
I'm like, oh, the Bolt is here. Like, every race, it would start lightning and thunder an hour before, and then all of a sudden, boom. It's over. Then we know, you got to experience that. Even a high school meet, I want to bring my athletes there by next year. We have the biggest high school meet in North America. Over 50,000 people sell out within minutes for that track meet.
Come on, man.
Oh, yeah. And just the energy alone. Celebrities are flying.
Oh, I can imagine.
And that's where so many records are falling because as a high school, it's massive. Outside of there, the next biggest high school was my high school meet in Sudbury. We had 10,000 people came out. Celebrities were flying in. I even showed up in a limo. I couldn't even stay in my house leading into Austin, man. I had to stay in a hotel, locked down and everything. So they wouldn't know my phone was ringing off the hook at the house. My mom losing her mind. We roll up in a limo, and they're like, what? Oh, yeah, I'm here to put some smack down. No. That's the kind of energy, man.
Dude, that's incredible.
I'm telling you, cheerleaders, everything. We had the whole, Yeah, man, you got to bring your swag right. So even now, I'm trying to prep my son. Well, poor kid. Like, was trying to prep some cheerleaders for him. So when he start roll up to his meets, the cheerleaders come out, go Lion, go Lion.
Hey, that's awesome.
That's what we're missing is entertainment in the sports right now.
So, Because I've competed in track up through high school, elementary school, and stuff, and there was a lot of things that I noticed, like, would have added to that atmosphere, right? Whether it be, even just like having your friends and family made your race different, right?
Yeah.
It creates that emotion behind you, and you're able to kind of, if you channel it right, you can use it, and then all of a sudden there's this energy going around. You're like, oh man, every time Robert was racing, it's electric in the arena, in the stadium. It's like, jeez. Yeah, it's finding a way to kind of almost make things, like making sports, there has to be a bit of an entertainment aspect to it.
There has to be.
I think in sports that you can't script, that has to be like a personality, right? Which is, I think, why it hit off for you, right? Like you said, like there's a personality. It's unique. You're like, oh, the young kid, Flash coming in, just doing, it's going fast, not caring, talking all the crap,
You have sports and entertainment goes well together. And I'm training some super awesome young ladies right now, and we went to a meet a few weeks ago.
Nice.
And my job is one person in particular, little Ava. She is 9, and she says to me, "I don't like to lose, coach." And I said, "Perfect. Neither do I."
We'll get along just fine, Trudy.
Right? So
amazing.
Mentally, she's strong, but she'll always need more. So we do a lot of mental coaching.
Nice.
And she shows up at the track meet. She's not even in shape because we came out of lockdown and she didn't do the Zoom training. So we only did like 3 weeks of training in the hallway, piece of crap hallway, but we make it work because they know who they have as a coach. Yeah. And showed up at the meet, and a young girl says, "All right, coach, I'm here for 3 gold medals." I said, 3? She says, "Yes, I'm in 3 events, and I want 3 golds." I said, "Why is that?" "I love when they cling together, coach. It's one of the most beautiful sound."
Amazing.
I said, "Okay, baby girl. All right, so here we go."
Amazing.
So we warm her up, and her mother's there, and I said, "Mommy, you're the manager. You can shake her legs out, massage and stuff. I don't do all that stuff." Right. So I did my portion. The mom's good. I gave her role. The daughter knows her role, and I said, "All right, let's go." So we go to the starter. Rule number 1: you go and you thank all the officials and the volunteers. Introduce yourself. That way, if anything goes down, you have mannerism, and they also love and respect, and they will love and respect you. Right. So you always introduce yourself and build that rapport right away.
For sure.
So she did that, and we're doing warm up and stuff. And the semifinal came up because the top 8 moved to the finals in the 60. Yeah. Boom! She came blazing out the blocks. Girls are like, the stadium was like, "What the hell happened? Who's that?" I'm up there recording. I said, "Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet." So she crossed the line. She goes, "All right, coach, we got one down, one more round to go for my gold." So we realized it's 10 minutes before the finals. Yeah. I'm like, a lot of them not prepared for back-to-back like that. I prepare all my athletes. So I said, "Don't worry, let's go." That was warm-up. So she goes in. Once again, 10 minutes later, tear down the whole stadium, run the fastest time in the country.
Let's go.
And she goes, 1 down, coach, 2 to go. I said, "All right," then called the mommy over. She went and got her snacks, shake her legs up, massage. She played a little bit, and then the hurdles come up after lunch. I'm warming up for her hurdles. Boom, lock that down too. Blow the whole field away. Parents are like, "Who the hell is that? What's going on?" Right? She like the whole arena stopped. No. I'm like, "That's something I do." Right? I stopped the whole arena. The eyes is on here, folks. You need to watch.
That proud coach
so
moment.
The girls are looking around and say, "Well, we know we can't win gold anymore. So let's see who am I going to beat for second?" That's a kind of aura.
That's what you want.
That's the aura, and think she drops off there. That little, you got to have that little extra special where people look at you and say, "Oh, I ain't gonna F with this one today."
Yeah, no way.
Right? So the 200 comes up, the last event of the day, and Mom do her stuff. She gave Mommy a hug and a kiss. I said, "You're good to go." She talked to the family on the FaceTime. They encouraged her, said, "Baby, you got this, you got this." So I said, "Ava, you're in heavy competition here. You're not that in kind of shape." She goes, "Coach," I said, "I came here for 3 gold medals." "All right, baby girl, let's go make it happen." So they had 2 rounds before, and four rounds. Yeah. So the fastest overall wins. Right. So I'm up in the gallery now, and the parents are losing their mind. "Oh, my baby!" So, okay. So, Ava, she goes, "Yes, coach." "So you're good?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "You need to run 32 to win it because somebody just went 34. "No problem, coach. I got this." Man, the girl came out flying out the corner. It's a bank, right? So it leads up. And then she came off swinging, right? And on the back end. Yeah. And then one girl pull up on her. She's like, So she pressed it again. And then she rolled up on the second bank going up. And then the other girl started pushing again, coming off the bank. She looked over and realized her cling cling is not going to happen. She put it in overdrive. Boom! 32 crossed the line.
Let's go!
Whoa! I said to that.
Let's go!
I'm telling you, aim for the heartbreak.
Let's go!
All the parents are like, who was that? I said, look at the back of my jersey. That's right there, right there, right there.
Get used to it. That's all you've been seeing.
And that's what I'm telling you. There's so many awesome
incredible.
athletes in Sudbury that don't realize the potential. I believe in multiple sport athletes, guys. I train at least 150 of them in Vancouver, right? And now a lot of them play NFL, CFL, representing Canada in different sports. And I'm like, these athletes here has to do at least track because it balances all the other sports, right? They don't have to do track full time, right? But they should plug into the system for speed, explosive, body awareness, mindset.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. That's
it's
relative everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm quite shocked that I don't have over 300 athletes in this city.
You don't say.
But yeah, it's been a challenge, but it's getting better. But you know, as I said, right now the ladies run. I have 90% of my clients are ladies, and they're tearing on the place. It's going to be a great summer because now track is going to open back up.
In person too.
They're gonna light up Northern Ontario, baby.
They're gonna be missing something. They're gonna be craving it. Oh man. It's gonna be epic to watch. Jeez. So you mentioned something interesting. So I'm sure there's a wide range of clients you deal with in terms of athletes specifically. What I want to know is like, what's your mental training process like? Because I'm sure that's like the same, if not more important than the physical, right?
Absolutely. For me, I always say in training, it's going to be 70% physical, 30% mental, and we flip that over in competition time. Because in training, my 30% involve weekly. We'll do YouTube, like a message from YouTube, the motivational stuff, and I'll play that through practice.
Awesome.
And set the tone of the week.
Yeah.
All right, and then each follow-up to each practice, I'm having a specific topic and different mindset.
Right.
So I'm training that. So as we go into race time, like for outside, we do specific steer down, someone spitting, a lot of different things that happens in car room.
Okay. Kind of get them
intimidation,
used to it and everything.
Intimidation. I have the young one versus the tall one. This one versus that one, because they're gonna be a variety that they haven't seen.
Right, they haven't seen it yet.
And they have to be prepared when that happens. Right. How do you react and how you step up? And
this way you can kind of control the reactions to get them back to that moment.
Right. So I prep all of that stuff because I said championships. Folks, you got to know me. I train for championships. Yeah. If you lose in between, I'm okay with that. Because guess what? Losing is an opportunity to learn something.
100%.
But you go to championship, you should have learned your stuff not to lose by now. You should put that together.
This is where it's put together. Yeah, in that moment.
Right? So they call me, as a coach, they call me the championship coach. Because, you know, they'll be running around carrying on. Oh, Esmie, what happened? Your athlete got roughed up. I'm like, listen, man, don't talk to me right now. Talk to me at the championship when they're holding the medals and stuff. Right?
Cling, cling, baby.
Yeah, cling, cling. In between that, I really don't care, man. It's education. We're learning. We're having some fun. We're back to the drawing board. But when it comes to a championship, we've got it personal. We're coming to put some smack down. And boxes of Kleenex. They're bringing the boxes of Kleenex with them, too. Oh, don't cry. Here you go. Cry to your mama.
It's free on the house.
And that's the thing that we're also missing is trash talk.
Yeah.
We're missing some good trash talking in track.
And it's all fun and games, too. Like, it's not personal, right? It's not attacking kids and mothers and all that.
You got to know who you're trash talking to.
Right. Right. That's that mental
You know, you got to know who you're gaming and stuff and having a rivalry trash talk. And I also said you can still be friends.
Right. 100%.
But have a little nice trash talk on the side.
I only trash talk my friends.
Yeah, you know, win or lose. Even at practice. Right now I have them trash talking because we're going to championship in a couple of weeks. Yeah. I'm like, no, it's time for some trash talking because somebody's going to trash talk to you. What are you going to do? Scare them back up? Hello.
Coach, we didn't train for this.
Like,
no.
You know where you're training? Yeah. Freaking Sudbury. Rock. Come on. Don't throw a stone in glass house. Right? And throw back. Right? Words ain't going to hurt too much.
Yeah. Not at all. No.
I'll smack her with your speed. So that's the idea, right? So some good trash talk. We're missing that.
So take us through kind of the transition, like leaving into leaving athletics and going into
business.
Take us through that process. I'm really interested on how that's going.
That one, transitioning from sports to business, I think that was a little bit more challenging. That's something I would love to see, sort of a mentorship with Athletics Canada with all the athletes and the young. Is transitioning from sports into suits, in a sense.
Yeah.
For myself, once again, it's self-taught and seeking mentorship within those areas. So when I left the sport, I was doing some motivational speaking at the time. I was doing more of those. And so I started to transition to say, let me do more of that stuff. On the East Coast, they know me as Blast Off. On the West Coast, they know me as Robert Esmie, because now I've transitioned sort of back into the business world, right? So I was dealing with speaking in conferences, engagements, and then I stumbled over the years some mentor who says, hey, I'm doing a workshop in Australia, Athens, different Berlin, right? Now,
amazing.
Could you come and work with me? So I'm like, do what? Let's demonstrate the drills and different things. So I was like, oh, okay, fine. And then went over and we get paid good money, fly. Nice. We just chill out. Spend extra few days in the city and enjoy myself, right?
Oh yeah, you can't not.
And then at the time, my old coach, he was working with some athletes and he didn't trust too many people. So when he has to go away, he says, Robert, can you be my assistant coach and work with these guys till I come back? So all of a sudden, I find myself coaching. Right? Yeah. So I go to medical conferences with Dr. Kelsick, and I'm the only person there that don't have a medical degree. So then they said, you know what? Let's make you honorary doctor. So I said, okay. And they gave me a lab coat and called me speed doctor.
Amazing.
And that's how the speed doctor became alive, right? And then we took there and said, okay, let's make a business with it. So I started out in the sports side, and I said to at the time I said all sport requires speed. So we rebrand Blast Off to Air Blast Off, because it has to be that urgency where if you can't breathe, you die.
Right.
And most speed and most sports, great moments happen in mid-air. The guy throwing the ball, whatever it is, diving on the puck, through the ice. Majority of speed happens in mid-air.
Yeah.
And great memories. So I said, it's got to be airborne. So if you got your wings, air, you got to fly. Blast is to start, off is to finish, Air Blast Off. I'm like, oh, rhymes with Air Jordan. And now we got my own brand, Air Blast Off. So that's how we come up with Air Blast Off instead of Blast Off back in the days. And then we said, okay. Then I had the first 2 clients. One of them played kabaddi. It's an Indian sport, cross between wrestling and sort of.
You said kabaddi?
Kabaddi.
Kabaddi.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's major, powerful in British Columbia and some parts of the world. In BC, kabaddi, a tournament, they get 10,000 people to come and watch this kabaddi thing. So I'm training this guy, Ali, right? And he became the best kabaddi player in the world.
No.
All of a sudden, I have a truckload of kabaddi athletes coming over from the train for speed and explosive. Right? Yeah. Then I had I was doing this from my basement of my place when I was renting, right? And then I ended up with a little soccer player. He was a little chubby. I call him Spaghetti. Like he couldn't do 1 push-ups or nothing. I had a belt underneath him. I'm holding one side. His father's holding the other side. And we're doing push-ups with him and just to help him assist.
Just to get him going. Yeah, amazing.
This guy now is 6'4". He plays soccer in Europe now, right? This is the stuff we developed.
That's a crazy transition.
Then we had a few CFL guys that we trained, and now they played in CFL for how many years? NFL. So now I'm starting getting athletes from all different sports. Yeah. And then start training them.
Amazing.
So I roll up into a gym and I walk in with my doctor coat, my iPad at the time, and my stethoscope around my neck like a doctor. Right? So people, the whole room stopped. Yeah. They're like, holy shit, why is he here? What's the doctor doing here? And it says speed doctor, my lab coat.
Amazing.
So they're like, oh, what's a speed doctor? I said, ma'am, she's in her 60s. I said, when you go to the doctor and you have a cold, and they prescribe you medication. Does it guarantee to make it work? She goes, no. So what do you do when it doesn't work? I go back and yell at the doctor and give me a new one. Okay. When you come to me for speed, I guarantee you also you get your money back that you got speed.
Back and
you can make me fast?
You know?
I said, I can make anybody fast. I make you so fast, woman, you catch a cold. She goes, this is my new trainer.
We found him.
All of a sudden, everybody wanted to come over and want me to train them.
That's that stethoscope power, man. That's
right?
incredible.
So when you think of marketing and branding, when you go to Tim Hortons, they're known for Timbits and coffee.
Tim.
You go to McDonald's, they're known for the Big Mac.
Yeah.
You go to Burger King, they're known for Whopper.
Yeah.
When you see me, I am known for speed.
Speed, yeah.
Period. Right? Yes, I can do other things, but I decided to specialize in speed. So when you need to be fast.
Yeah.
If you don't call me, you call the wrong person. I have a program can make it fast within under 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm blazing fast. Right? I have a lot of combine athletes call me. Hey, I need to get ready. I need to run certain time for combine. It's like 3 weeks in. I said, and you need to run what? Do I look like Jesus to you? But we'll see what we can do. But please, I need minimum 6 weeks. I told you guys that.
Yeah.
You know, you give me 3 weeks, you're asking for miracles. But
you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, I needed to go to church. I needed to pray and bless on it that your speed is up to the right part by then. But yeah, but it's amazing, you know.
Man, that's awesome. That's really man. That's so that's just air blast off.
That's
correct?
air blast off, and now we moved into the retail world because I love customers and I love service. I end up working for full time at Fazani, Sport Check back then. Yeah. My friend hired me at the time. I was going back to school to do kinesiology, and took the summer job. He's like, "Oh, let's take the summer job. I need some help at the store."
Yeah.
It was like the number 6 store in the country, right?
Geez.
So it's a $10 million store.
Yeah. Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So the department we went in, and he says, "Could you take over the Sport Check and the Coast Mountain, which was like a mountain co-op, like high end?"
Yeah.
Right. So I took over both the footwear department as a full time. Within a month, they realized there's mad money coming out of this department. So Mr. Fazani, one of the VP, flew in to Richmond and sat me down and says, "Who are you?" And then he said, "What are you doing here? You're an Olympian. Why are you working here in this thing?" I said, "What's your plans?" I said, "Well, not to do footwear stuff because I want to use my brains a little bit more, but you know I needed to get in." So he says, "Okay, you know what? We need to do some stuff. Tell me your secret why we're making so much money out of the store all of a sudden." So he says, "Okay, I can't give you the job, but you need to. We're gonna fly into Calgary, and I'm gonna go through an interview process."
Yeah, it's a formality thing,
right? And then he flew me in the following week. He picked me up. We said, "What's for lunch?" I'm like, "Lobster and steak." It's not my budget. It's not my budget.
Not my budget.
Yeah, so we're
I'll
going
have it all. Page 1 of the menu.
Yeah, so we're going to get lobster and steak. And we had our meeting, and by the time I finished, I signed an agreement, and I'm the new district regional manager for West Coast, right? Jeez. And then we hired a couple other ones for the other regions, and I grew the region the first year by $68 million.
Jeez.
Right? And we just tore up the place. Congrats. So I went there for about 3.5 years, and then from there, took a year off. I was like, okay, let's get out of here.
Decompress.
Yeah. The Olympic was in Vancouver 2010. I'm enjoying my process. I figured I wanted to try build a Blast Off brand. So we've got about 80 clients now. But for some reason, I didn't want to do it full time. I want to have like opportunity for my EI and all the different things and benefits. All right. So I met a gentleman during the Olympics in a medical company. Doing orthotics, brace, and footwear assessment stuff. So I was going to actually move back to to Sudbury. Yeah. All right, to Toronto anyway. And he said, no, let's give it a try, whatever. And I said, all right, let's give it a try. Yeah. I said, let me run it like my own business. Leave me alone, because it was a head office. When you're at head office, it's heavy heat. Like other stores, it took a while for those managers to get there. So I have the CEO, the founder, everybody up top above me, right? So you can't make no mistakes downstairs.
No, you don't say.
So overall, it was at the time it was a $550,000 store. Jeez. So I said, tell you what, I'll give you a 3-year plan. After that, I don't think I'm going to stick around. But for the next 3 years, I'll make this $1 million store.
Amazing.
All right, so we went in and worked hard, put the head down. There's some ups and downs, but every year we'd make at least 15% above the year before.
Perfect.
And by the time 3 years was up, I was $1 million store.
Nice.
So it's like anything I wanted. It's like, hey, what do you want? So I was like, challenge is done now.
Yeah.
So I ended up being there for 7 years, and I said I'm gonna move back to Sudbury. My mom needs my help, and it's, so I said, because at the time we were in talking, I want my own. I want to own. I don't want to manage a store.
No,
I want
people above
I want to be able to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I want to play golf a little bit more. I want to teach people to do my job 90%, and then I can go do other things that I love. So I said, okay, all right, we'll give you ownership.
Nice.
To open up a store in Sudbury whenever you're ready, and we haven't opened one yet. And then that's how it went. When I moved back, I figured the transition would have been good, where I could build my blast off permanently as a full-time business. But a lot of fight back with different parts of the city and a different nonsense. I'm like,
that's so frustrating.
I have a key to the city, and what does it open up? Shit. Right? So I be creative and think. And then I said, you know what? I was gonna work with a gentleman at the time, and I said, if you give me X amount, I'm good, and some ownership, because I'm not gonna build a business and I don't own a piece of it.
Right. There needs to be that incentive, right?
Anymore, right? So we moved on, and then I said, okay, well, let me take a different job, give me all my benefits.
Yeah.
It gives me an opportunity to leverage myself, where if something should happen to my mom, I don't want to live here anymore.
Right.
I can transition back to Vancouver or wherever else, and the transition is smooth. So I took it with the source, and then start tearing up the numbers over there once again. Yeah. But I look at it as education. Any job I've always taken is I'm getting paid to learn something.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I look at it.
Does that mentality, though, Robert, sorry to interrupt, not help, like, the job not feel so shitty?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, well, you have to look at it as an experience of growth. I'm getting paid to learn stuff new. So, and I've never been into electronics. Well, I've built my own stuff at the house, but I've never really dived into electronics. But I look at it as an avenue where I can move into corporate very quickly with all my other skills, and move into another department or take over another department. That's how I look at it. So it's a stepping stone. You need to get your feet in there. Once you get your feet in there, you get noticed, because all of a sudden, boom, I'm on conferences, I'm doing different things now with the company. Right? And then, boom, they shut down all 3 stores except for one in Sudbury. And I'm like, snap, I'm jobless. My side business, I'm jobless because of the lockdown. Right? So now I have to pivot. So it happened February last year. Yeah. I'm working with a client, and he showed me an idea he was been sitting on for about a couple of years. I said, boom, I'm in. So I said, I have a couple job interviews. So he says, what is it going to take for you to be on board? I said, I want ownership, and I want X amount of dollars. And he's like, okay, honey, can you bring the checkbook over? And boom. Amazing. Didn't sign a deal. Just gave me, he said, my SIN number, my money's in my account.
Handshake, that's it.
Yeah, handshake. My agreement came in about 3 weeks later.
Amazing.
My paperwork of ownership of the company, which now we call Critique.
Epic,
first time I get to be in technology from the ground floor. Because most people, they get like Apple, they get when Apple's already big. Yeah. Right? So now I'm into technology, which everyone so far in the platform said this is going to be one of the next biggest thing. And like we've got superstar celebrities everywhere.
Amazing.
To be able to give back. That's what I love to do, is help people. And when we can do that now, and I think the right place at the right time. Right? I get leave work at 2 o'clock. I pick my son up for 2:45. Yeah. And I have the rest of the day go hang out with him, and then go work with the other athletes, things that I love. So now I have a balance of I'm okay pay wise, do more of the things that I love.
Amazing.
And hopefully in a few more years I'm fully retired, traveling the world and helping people other areas.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's the business side. The
business side of it, eh?
Yeah.
So with business wise and everything, I like we could do this 2 parts. I want to ask you a question about what is the best piece of, like, through all the mentors you've had, coaches, right, peers, that you've either received a piece of advice or wisdom that's kind of been presented to you, but you found has stayed with you over time. Can we do two separate answers? One for business related specifically, if possible, and then one for overall. Unless they're the same.
Business advice that someone has given me. Make sure you own piece of whatever you're doing. And I realize that, I noticed that when you're putting your love, heart and passion into something, to build something for someone else, and giving them the opportunity to play more, do more, and you realize I'm doing most of the work and I don't own it. I don't own piece of it.
Yeah.
Right? So when I look at it is, you need to have something that can provide you with unlimited income while you sleep or you wake. While you wake or asleep. That's the best business advice. So now, when I was in a position to have an option, and that's why I always do 2 jobs growing up.
Yeah.
I always have 2 cars growing up. I always have 2 certain things because I want to have the option. If my one car broke down, I have time to get it fixed. I just switch in the next one and I'm gone.
Amazing.
Right? Till it's fixed. Right? Same thing job-wise. If I lose a job,
I have another job.
I have something that can turn into a full-time.
Right.
Right? So even in BC, I had over 100 and something clients. I could do my sports business full-time.
Yeah.
It gave me both options.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
But now, after that, I said, that's why I went back to the deal and says, I love it. I want to be part of it, but I need to own some of it. Right? And once he says yes, the other partners, I'm like, all right, we'll figure out all the other details after. Right? But because now I'm putting in my love, I'm putting my hard work, because I want to make sure it's successful, because now I have a stake in the game now.
Right.
Right? They want to make it successful. Now they have a stake in the game. So that would be my advice to anyone. You're going to trade time for money. Right? If you're going to trade time for money, make sure you love or like what you do.
Yeah, at least.
And willing to maximize the opportunity to be successful. Right? And make sure it pay you enough where you don't mind being used.
Right, yeah, you gotta,
right?
There's gotta be the balance.
Yeah, you don't mind being used, but there's a cost to the use.
Right.
Right? And if you can't, then try to own along the way.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. Even all the jobs that I've taken, because I was into fashion and I want to have my own clothing line. So when I took the job with Sport Check, was to learn everything about clothing, footwear.
Jobs to learn. And
when I got with Sport Check, I went to every manufacturer. Because I have to learn from every manufacturer, and I went into their warehouse and I see how everything is built and broken down. So it gave me that expertise, which I couldn't get access to in a regular lifestyle.
Interesting.
Right? So now I learn everything about fabric, where it's made of, where it's coming from, how much is this, how much is the cost. And now I build that relationship, and I build also the relationship with Sport Check to say, you know what, if I drop my own clothing line, I can call head office and say, hey, it's Robert Esmie. I'd like to show my line of clothing, and it gets me right in the door.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So everything I'm doing with a grand scale, a big view.
Big picture of...
And then I move backwards. And some of my teammates, they don't understand the way I think. They're like, oh, Robert's an idiot. He's a clown. That's how it may seem to them because of my energy system.
Right.
But I always look at a global picture and then move in and then plan it out and execute. Right? And same thing with this business. We look at the global aspect of it and move in, and now we'll start putting things in place. And trust me, within a year from now, it'll be the biggest platform out there on the global stage.
Yeah, you don't say. Jeez, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Man. So, Robert, before we end this, I want you to tell everybody kind of where they can find you, where they can connect with you, be a part of what you're doing, kind of. Well,
absolutely, in Sudbury. Currently, my website, we just shut down both of them. They're in rebuilding. I want to redesign it. Nice. It'll be airblastoff.com, and for my speaking, it'll be robertesmie.com. But in the meantime, I'm all over different social media, same thing. You can reach me at robertesmie@gmail in the meantime. And anything service-wise, reach me at critique.com where the world experts come in and give accelerated feedback to people all over the world.
Amazing.
That's from if you want to learn basketball, shooting, dribbling. We've got Trey Young, shooting coach. We've got NBA players, Major League Baseball, hockey players, chefs, educators, sports psychologists, whatever you want. It's like a coach in your pocket, right? We're giving you years of experience and knowledge with accolades. So you're not getting idiots giving you feedback, but we're giving you personalized feedback specifically for that individual. Yeah. Based on whatever they're learning, studying, even podcasts. Yeah. We've got podcast specialists who's learn how to build your own podcast with millions of things. You give your questions or your thing that you're working on, you break it down and say boom, boom, boom for a fraction of anywhere from 20 to 80 bucks for 2 minutes and tell you exactly what you're doing. Business, we have venture capital as Skip the Dishes CEO. He's on the platform. Amazing. Right? Yeah. I reached out to him. I was like, this is brilliant. I'm like, can I have you on? He's like, yeah, man, you got me. Whatever you need, man. I was like, what? You know, that's amazing. I wake up and my son's like, Daddy, who are you talking to? And what part of the world are you talking to now? Yeah. Right? I'm talking to people from all over the world, from all different industry. Yeah. Right? That sees, this is brilliant. Why didn't I think of this? Well, it's too late now, right? Because now that we launched and everything. But, you know, just to be able to, imagine being in business. You have a business deck you need someone to take a look at. Yeah. Right? And we both know how important not making your own mistake is important by not making your own mistake by learning from others. We know that. Yes. So if you can get Mark Cuban, for instance, on the platform, it says, Mark Cuban, here's my pitch deck, 8-page. This is the best stuff. Can you or your staff look it over and give me your best feedback? $500. Boom. You know how many people will do that? Because that mistake you would have made would cost you millions of dollars. Yeah, down the line, big picture of it. Yeah. And it costs you
No stress.
We're tearing stuff up over here, folks, and it's costing you, say, $500. Yeah. We have artists, producers, and all that stuff on the platform. You know how many people want to get onto American Idol?
A lot.
You go on your phone and you do a 1-minute bar of singing something. You pick the expert that you want to critique you. He goes in, break it down, and says, right here, fix this, boom, right there, boom. Guess what? Not only that producer could say, what? You know what? I want this person on my label.
Yeah, true.
I'm the first one that...
There's opportunity there.
Opportunities, right? For both parties.
Yeah, it's not just feedback.
Right? So that's the value alone to get someone's personalized feedback. Yes, you're going to learn that from YouTube and different things, but it's not the same. It's
not personalized.
When it's personalized specifically to you.
Right.
You know, we call it accelerated learning, right? Yeah. In a sense. Because at the end of the day, what's better than even a word of encouragement? If I had this growing up, I probably would have broke the world record already. Right? Start doing more camps this year. We'll go to mountain and different places. And they have no advanced coach there. So when I leave there, they're like, how am I going to get a hold of you? Hit me up at critique.com. Yeah. Videotape what you need. Boom, I break it down. And I don't have to be best friends with you. I do the job and then I'm done. Yeah. Right? I'm there to help them. You want to be helped? Yeah. It's a win-win.
I'll give you feedback. Here you go. Yeah.
One girl that I know, she got a feedback from Jordan Kilgallen. Yeah. She's grade 9.
Oh, no kidding. Nice.
She wants to jump and dunk one day. Yeah. Right? She needed help to jump and touch the backboard. She chose Jordan Kilgallen, one of the greatest dunkers you'll
greatest
see.
Ever, yeah.
Exactly. 50 inches, baby. Right? There you go. 50 inches. Right?
It's high.
He helped her.
That's high.
Yeah. 2 minutes, $50, and now she's touching the rim. And I'm pretty sure by grade 11 she'll be dunking.
Oh, yeah. She keeps that up.
And I'm sure she's going to go back every year for something else.
He's so intelligent when it comes to the approach of what he's doing. It's like 100% it's worth it.
But the last piece I'm going to leave with the Sudbury people is make sure you put on your seatbelt. It's going to be a crazy year going forward. Yeah. All my basketball experts were planning for them to come to Sudbury.
Amazing.
And we're going to have an event. So imagine we got a couple NBAs and different people on the platform, Jordan. We'll even have our own dunk competition, critique style. We'll be critiquing the dunks.
Let's go.
And the winner I'm working to make sure we get 50 grand to give them for the winner.
Amazing.
Right? And we'll even do a warm-up, our critique guys versus the Sudbury 5. It may be a little clinic by the time my guys have finished dunking throughout the whole game. Right? We got King Handle, one of the best handlers in the business, folks. All these guys will be flying in. Right? When it comes to winter sport, we'll have a lot of NHL guys coming in. We'll host the camps. So different genre and categories, I'll be putting on different events throughout the year for the Sudbury people to enjoy.
Amazing.
And guess what? It's from Sudbury Critique.
Mm-hmm.
Your own backyard.
Let's go.
We'll be getting celebrities, stars from all over the world to come in to Little Sudbury.
Amazing.
So there you go.
That's amazing.
Lock that down, baby.
Right on.
Artists, all the big artists.
Let's
We'll
go.
do a concert up in here, boy. Right, so yes, that's something you guys can look forward to as well. Is we're going to start putting a lot of events, and the other thing is we're going to tie that back with a lot of charities within the community and giving back that way. That's something that we, as a team, we wanted to do when we build this platform. Is when we have the events, how can we put it back to the city and give back to some of those sports and develop them so we can be the best sports city or the best city, period, in this country.
Amazing.
Because we're going to be having experts leaving their knowledge on us when they leave, when they come in and out.
Amazing.
So there you go. Look forward to that.
Oh, man, I'm looking forward to that.
There you go.
Jeez.
We'll have podcast specialists. Learn how to build your own podcast. You'll be part of the team, man.
Let's go. So
how to set up your studio.
It's amazing seeing what you're doing, being able to hear you share your story with myself, audience, and everybody today. I'm super grateful. I look forward to seeing what you make of everything going forward, and I just really appreciate your time, Robert. I know you're a busy guy, so thank you very much.
Anytime.
Thank you very much.
My son wanted to come. I'm like, no, stay with Grandma, and Grandma will hook you up. But no, listeners, keep it locked. Make sure you're safe. Enjoy yourself. Live life to the fullest, but be safe. Don't be stupid. Right? Stupid costs a lot more headache and stuff for you. Yeah. You can be smart and still have fun. Right?
Facts.
Clean fun, have fun, live life, hug people, love people, hug your family. Don't go hug strangers. You get arrested.
Yeah, amongst other things. So, right on. Thank you, Robert.
Anytime,
Thank you, guys.
Peace out.